pleaded not guilty, both Maduro and his wife. And Maduro continues to say that he is the acting leader of Venezuela. How does that all play into the legal context here, the case against Maduro?
Yeah, certainly you would expect him to say he's a legitimate leader, but there's this concept here, or this principle here of immunity potentially for someone who's a head of state. And I'm going to look down for a second at the indictment because it's important, because the government is trying to say that he's not legitimate, and while he's not legitimate, that's why he lacks that immunity. And for example, right out of the gate, it says that the public trust and corrupted once legitimate institution. The first paragraph after that, addressing Maduro specifically, he illegally obtained authority and he corroded the institutions. Even the next page, it says that he was an illegitimate government. So the principle here is we could take you, for lack of a better term. You don't have the ability to be immune for your actions that were part of your governmental job and what you did as a governmental leader, because you were an illegitimate leader. You were not a head of state. You don't enjoy those privileges. And what you did, and how we're going to pierce that veil, if you will, is that you were committing these crimes as sort of in a private way to enrich yourself. So it would not have surprised me if when he went in there, he said, I don't recognize the jurisdiction of this court. I'm a leader of this foreign sovereign nation. But it's the same principle, what he's trying to get at. You cannot do this to me as a matter of law. But we're here now. That's going to fail. It's going to move forward. And
they also are not seeking bail, he and his wife. What can you share about that?
Well, that's pretty clear and obvious. He was not getting bail. You're not going to put the man on an ankle monitor. Not to be too tongue-in-cheek here. You're not going to say, give me your passport. They blindfolded him, blocked his ears, handcuffed him. When they took him out of that country, he is going nowhere other than Metropolitan Detention Center, back to court, and maybe if he's housed elsewhere at some period of time until this case is resolved.
Right.
So there's going to be the sharing of discovery and the turning over of discovery. There's going to be a conference date likely going forward. It doesn't just go from now to trial. That's far, far out. I would assume, again, as I mentioned before, some of this discovery is likely ready to go because this is a superseding indictment, meaning a second in time, where a lot of the allegations are already dealt with previously, even though these defendants are now first in custody. But these are going to be the questions. There may be applications or motions to challenge the law and the issues that have been raised here, whether or not the court ultimately follows that, again, use that term, that blueprint from Noriega in terms of how we got here and where this goes forward. But it'll be a slower process. You're not going to see the sexiness anymore. You're not going to have, the people repelling, not that they were directly, and sort of the Mission Impossible bird eye view of him being handcuffed and walking out to court from a helicopter. That is done. Now it's time to do the work and do the work in the courtroom.
All right, Jeremy, stand by. Thank you. I want to bring